Hey Flamigos, it's your girl Black Flamigo, and I'm here today with my yoga wheel. I'm going to show you guys 4 of my favorite poses that you can do with this yoga wheel. I have a lot of people who ask me about how to use their yoga wheel, so I have 4 poses that I'm going to show you today that's going to help you with different body parts in different areas to either help you open up or to strengthen the joints and the connectivity through the body. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, one of my favorite poses to do with the yoga wheel, it's a super easy pose, and we're going to go actually in order of what I consider from simple to a little bit complex. So depending on where you're starting in your journey, maybe you want to practice these 4 poses and add them into your repertoire, your practice, just by trying them today or maybe just watching me. So without further ado, let's get into the 4 poses that I love to do on the wheel. Okay, so first things first, I typically like to warm up with a back bend. So I might take my wheel and just so I can give you guys an example, I'm going to turn to the side and move my yoga blocks out the way. By the way, if you're interested in doing all 4 poses, I would recommend using yoga blocks that are cork and thick. You guys can see these are a little bit thicker than the ones that you might get in 5 and below. They're about the length of my index finger. So you'll want the chunky cork blocks for one of the later poses that I'm going to show you. It's a balancing pose and you need a little stability. So you might decide that you want to bring in some dumbbells, some books, or something that's kind of big and bulky like this, yet heavy. Okay, so without further ado, let me show you the first pose. It's a back bend, it's a spinal opener. Okay, so we're gonna turn to the side and I'm gonna allow you just to see the setup. We're gonna place the wheel directly behind me, right into the crook, or right up against the spine, and I'm gonna keep my thumbs here. Now my feet are gonna stretch out so that my heels can touch the ground. I don't have as much room, but I'm gonna show you as best as I can. So with enough room for your feet to stretch out and try to touch the ground in front of you, and then you're gonna just start to roll back. Now you can stop here, or you can add a little more by just pushing and extending. So you guys kind of see I'm rolling back and forth, and I'm not sure if I'm going to cut out the frame, so I might not go as much as I might normally go, but I like to start off with a few like spinal rolls. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. Just the So this is pose number 1, and it typically might get me ready and started and activated for a super powerful day or practice, or it's more restorative. I might just stay here and kind of like roll around literally. So this is the spinal opener, the back bend. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to pose number 2. So this is pose number 1, just allowing a little bit of spinal movement and relaxation. You can extend all the way out. You can let those arms fall against the sides of the body, or it can be a little more rhythmic. Maybe it's more soothing. Either way, take your own time. And if you have any spinal issues, this is a great way to release that. Okay, so that's pose number 1. Pose number 2 is a shoulder opener. So that one was a spinal opener. It's good for if you have any back problems, stiffness, pain, discomfort in the spinal area, or upper and lower back. Now moving into our shoulder opener, we're going to come into child's pose. You can either put the wheel out in front of you and let it touch the wall, or you can put up against the blocks and maybe the block is kind of helping it not to move. Either way, we want to stabilize the block, put it in a nice stable position where it won't move like such. And we're going to spread the knees super wide, push the hips back, and maybe rock back and forth just to get a little opening up here. Now start to scoot back so that you have enough distance to place those hands down out in front of you, just reaching out. Maybe it feels good to put that head down all the way. And what I'm doing here is resting my wrist on top of the wheel. My fingertips are reaching forward. And then as I bring my head down, the wrists stay here. I'm kind of stretching out the shoulder blades and either taking the range a little further or backing up, or maybe you add a little bit of movement like so. So it's a little more fluid. I don't quite have the room that I would like, but hopefully you guys can see. It can be a little bit of motion if you need it to be. You can roll it forward. Oh my gosh, this feels so good. Pull the shoulders, lift it up, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. And remember, those wrists are resting, and then breathe out. Nice. And that is pose number 2, this shoulder opener. So if you have any pain or discomfort, or you want to pay special attention to the shoulders, this is a good one. All right, so moving on into pose 3. I'm trying to do this fairly quickly so that you guys can enjoy this video. So moving into pose 3 with the wheel. I think we're gonna go ahead and do an inversion. So we're leveling up in this next one. It's a little challenging if you're not already used to doing inversions. You may want to go ahead and decide that where you are today, and if it makes sense for you to add this to your practice. Okay, so pose number 3 is headstand or shoulder stand, either one. You might be practicing your inversions on a more basic level and you're just starting with that supported headstand, which is fine. Or you may be in pincher. Either way, I'm going to show you how you can do either one of the inversions using the wheel, okay? So let's just start with headstand first. And headstand and shoulder stand technically are different poses, but I'm treating them as if they're inversion based. So there are 4 poses that, you know, we're doing for the wheel. We've done that spinal opener already, and then we did the shoulder opener. Right here we're building our inversion. So it's our strength portion, or our strength pose that I'm showing you with the wheel. And then our last one is one of my favorites, okay? So this is our 3rd pose moving into the inversion using the wheel. I'm gonna show you how. So either you're doing a headstand with a supported headstand. You cannot do, well, I won't say you can't, but there's 2 versions of headstand. There's either tripod, like so, but with the tripod, with the 3-point contacts, the 3-point contact to the ground, the only issue here is that you're not really using the wheel. So we're gonna keep the head down because we're still doing a headstand, and we're gonna drop the forearms so that they're shoulder distance. We're gonna place our hands around the wheel, secure that wheel to the back of the head, or push it up against the wall all the way fully, and then bring the hands down in the elbow shoulder distance. From there, you can place the head down, walk the knees in, and the knees are gonna be hip distance. Now you're gonna tuck the toes, right? Lift those heels up, and you're gonna press up through the toes to extend the knees, walk the feet in. From here, if you're familiar with headstand, you should be able to lift one foot, keep the opposite foot to the ground, and maybe find a little kick up into headstand. Now, you can be like me and use the wall. So even if you're not familiar with headstand, you can use that wall to support you, okay? So don't feel intimidated or anything. You can have fun with this pose even if you're a beginner. And your headstand might look like such, and that's okay. What I really want you guys to focus on is, are the elbows anchored down? Are the fingertips supported, or are the fingers wrapping in to support the head? Is that wheel behind you to help you with that spinal structure? We want to stack everything. So we're stacking from the bottom up, elbows to the shoulders, to the hips, and then the legs. Now I'm going to go ahead and come down safely out of my headstand and find my child's pose. And okay, so I was supposed to show you shoulder stand too technically, but if you just wanted to do headstand, you can stop there. If you're working on your shoulder stand, it will look like such. If you're working on your pincher, it will be just as stacked as the headstand was. Elbows, then shoulders are stacked over the elbows, and then the hips are stacked over the shoulders, and so on. Go ahead and come down. Now let's move on into that last pose. Last pose is a hip opener, right? So we're gonna take this wheel and secure it with those yoga blocks that we have, or dumbbells, or something bulky and supportive to keep our wheel from shifting. We want to stabilize the wheel here, make sure it's not gonna move, and then we're gonna come up and place the feet either on the blocks or very close. Keep one hand down and step one foot up. Now from here, you can start to lower yourself into somewhat of a squat position, and then you can bring both feet up onto the wheel, okay? From here, core is engaged, everything's engaged, and from here, core is engaged, and we're nice and active in our breath. And you're gonna feel a lot of intensity building in those hips and flexors, okay? So it might even feel like it's a lot going on behind you in the glutes as well. This is a full low body opener. And you may not be able to stay on your wheel for that long. It may be uncomfortable. When I first used to get on my wheel like that, I could only stay for a few seconds. So go ahead and find your way on or off the wheel. If you've fallen off, you can try it again, or you can just accept that you failed and maybe 5 seconds is as long as you're gonna go today. So those are the 4 poses with the yoga wheel. I hope you guys enjoyed today's class and my intro to yoga wheel. My intro to the yoga wheel. I honestly love it. It's a great way to play around with your practice and to be more adventurous in how to get into poses. There's more than one way to get into poses, as we know. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the different ways that you can use your yoga wheel to have more fun and connect yourself back to your practice if you have lost motivation or courage to keep going or whatever. And that's okay, because as as yogis, we all kind of lose our way sometimes, and it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to jump back into it. I hope you guys enjoyed the 4 poses that I showed you with the wheel. We had a spinal opener, a shoulder opener, an inversion builder, aka a strength builder, if you will, building that upper body, and the last one was the hip opener. And those are really fun ways that you can target your body in specific body areas that you might be having pain or discomfort. Okay, Flamigos, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you'll stay tuned in my channel so that you can get alerted the next time I post. Bye, Flamigos. Have a good day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Down the necklace. Doesn't mean a thing, just know I spend